What's up, folks? Dallas Michael Sear, and I want to share with you something that inspired me, obviously, to create this video. And literally, what I'm going to share with you could be 3 separate videos all on its own, but I'm going to try and bring it together in one video for a reason, these 3 different points, and be as succinct as possible, but bear with me. So the first thing I want to share with you is that growing up, for those of you who know my background or even don't, where I grew up was the inner city. I grew up in the hood, and I was one of, 10 white people in like a 20-mile radius. I exaggerate a little bit, but every single person I hung out with outside of my family was either black or Puerto Rican. So when it comes to prejudice, one, I don't get it. I mean, of course I get it, and then I don't, because I can't really relate. And there's few things in the world that incite me more, that anger or trigger me more. As much as I experience love and forgiveness for the people who are coming from that place, my first reaction is like, what the and I just get so angry and frustrated. So this one post, I'm going through my Facebook feed, and I see this photo, and it's actually a restaurant receipt, and on the restaurant receipt someone had written, "We are not niggers. We forgive you. Enjoy your dinner." And they drew a heart. So needless to say, that caught my attention. And then, so that made me want to read the post, of course. And as I'm reading this post, the story goes, we were in line. My son and I were in line at a drive-thru. And the guy in the truck behind us yelled out the window, "Hurry up, you fucking niggers." Even as saying it viscerally in my body, I feel like punching whoever that guy is in the face. Returning back to love and forgiveness, I'm reading this post, and what this individual decided to do, the way they decided to respond, was to pay for that guy's meal, write the message that I just shared with you on the receipt, and make sure that the person at the drive-thru gave that receipt along with their paid-for meal to the guy in the truck. Now, there was a lot of comments. There was 23,000 comments under this Facebook post. Some of them in complete agreement, most of them very positive comments, some of them not. Some people didn't agree necessarily with this person's decision to pay for their meal, saying it was giving off the wrong message. And there was every variety of comment for every different variety of people. Here, outside of the obvious thing, the thing that infuriated me about this message in terms of the initial prejudice, and then the thing that really inspired me about the message is that, about the response, is that the child asked, "Why did you do that? Like, why would you respond to that person who just, spoke that way to us?" And the parent's response was, "It's easy to be kind when people are kind to you. But can you be kind in the face of ugly or prejudice or when it's not easy?" And I am such a proponent of that. Can you be kind to people even when you're being shown anything but kindness? Because that's when the true test is on. So that's number one. That just really inspired me. You may agree or not agree. That's okay. But the second thing that I noticed is when I went to go put my personal comment about how I felt about the post on the page, in all of these comments, there were a bunch of them. One specifically that stood out to me, which was a woman who said, "What a great response. Only people with Jesus Christ in their heart could experience such love and forgiveness." Now, that on itself, on the surface, to most people may appear to be a very positive message. And I have nothing against Christians. In fact, I spent 3 years in a Christian church very devoutly. I love the community that I was in. And I have nothing against Christians. In fact, I have nothing against anyone of any religion. And what I can say, though, is that the idea that only people with Jesus Christ in their heart could respond with such love and forgiveness, what does that say about this person's opinion and judgment of everyone else? outside of Christians, there's more than 6 billion people on this planet that may or may not believe in Jesus. And so what does that say? Now, I believe that regardless of your religion, even if you're atheist, you have the capacity, the ability to respond in kindness and forgiveness and to express love, because that's who we are. The second thing is all prejudices begin with assumption that you're better than somebody else, or that someone else is wrong or less capable or less intelligent or less anything because of fucking fill in the blank, because they're a woman, because they're gay, because they're black, because they're white. So it's ironic that this person is leaving this positive message, excited about the response that this person gave, but responding in a way that's creating this assumption, this judgment, this prejudice, or this prelude to prejudice, which is assumption. Because I went back to the page itself. The page is actually Great Minds Think Alike, and it's just a community page. It's like a fan page. I went to the page itself, and in the description of the page, there's nothing that mentions God, let alone any specific religion. There's also nothing in the post itself that suggests God or any specific religion, yet there were thousands of comments that were talking about Jesus and Christianity and God specifically, which is fine. I have nothing against that. But it makes the assumption that one equals the other, that we can't be kind and loving and forgiving unless we have Jesus or religion in general. The next thing that I noticed is that in these comments, there was so many people who were saying, wow, what a great example for a father to give. What a great example for a mother to give. I kept going back to the post and reading it. There was nothing in the post that indicated whether it was a mother or a father. So that's the next thing that I wanted to share with you, is the judgment, the perception that people placed on the story, putting themselves into the story, or putting maybe their parent into the story, and somehow assuming that it's a mother or father when there was nothing in there, if they would actually just read it for what it is, versus placing their perception and judgment on it. And I want you to think about how many times in your day-to-day communication are you assuming something, are you perceiving something that isn't even there, and how many times we could avoid pain, struggle, argument, and improve our communications with our teachers and our leaders and our parents and our children, our coaching clients, if we just are aware that we can't have communication and perceive things for the way that they are, because we're already seeing it through our own filters. We see everything through the way that we are, not the way that things are. If we just understood that before we even communicated, we would be, I think, light years ahead in our way of connecting with one another. And so I just found it interesting that there was so much kind of masked in love and in support of this beautiful message, whether you agree with the person's response or not. All of these comments that seemed to be so loving and supportive that were just filled with perception and judgment and prejudice. But they were like, clothed in what appeared to be love and religion and God. And I hope that serves you in some way, that you get something out of the initial story in this very powerful post. I'll put a link to the post under in the comments of this video. So I hope that you get something out of that about responding in love and kindness. I hope that you give some thought to all of the other people in the world who may or may not share your particular beliefs. And I also hope that you give some thought to your communication when you are speaking to people and sharing your thoughts and ideas, and understanding that you're doing so with your own perceptions, which is okay, because it's what makes you you, but you just need to know that you're doing that. Sending you love and kindness, whether you're male, female, no matter what your religion. I love you. Peace.